I think cybersecurity is an emerging issue, it's a global issue, it's an African issue, and we have to take interest in that issue because it confronts us every day. Having said that, I think the links between elections and cybersecurity are still fairly tenuous for most of our countries. And explanations are fairly simple. One is that we have very rudimentary electoral infrastructures in most of our countries. And I think we're talking about South Africa, maybe a few other countries, and those are exceptions. Voting is still very much manual in our country. But I like the Greek story too on the manual part, because in fact, it was very easy for regimes to manipulate elections when we had the old systems. But I'll also say the same thing about the digital era, where the bulk of the electoral malfeasance are actually caused by regimes, ruling parties that don't want to give up power. And that's the broader African experience, where you don't really have free elections, and that you have very uncompetitive opposition parties trying to compete against very dominant parties. So I think the fact that the electoral infrastructure is rudimentary and these systems are new makes Africa is essentially unique in that link between elections and cybersecurity. But I think the second point that I wanted to make is that there is relatively limited external influence. I think there are some debates about Russia or China maybe getting into the electoral arena in some African countries, but that has not actually been as widespread. So that component makes Africa very different in that respect. So election insecurities, therefore, emanate from what I'm calling local sources. So the technologies are enabling, as I said, most notably ruling parties to use them very effectively, even for misinformation and disinformation. It is not a wide, the playing field is not level, even in the digital arena. So it makes it a fairly unique. Who manipulates the election, who misinforms, is for the most part, I think in our cases, people who want to remain in power.